Beside the Palm, Season 3, Episode 5.
Hello, everybody, and welcome to Beside the Palm. Today we have a very, very special guest with us today, Meredith Davis, who is the Director of Outreach at St. Luke's and just really a general boss at life, right?
Sure. I'm sure that's what everyone says.
Well, I won't say what everybody else says, but we'll talk about that another time.
That's good.
Well, I'm excited you're here today. I know, just like, if you need to go like dry your palms off at any time, just we'll pause.
I'm so sweaty right now.
There's gonna be a therapy like support group after this whole thing's over with all of our interviewees, and you're all gonna just complain about how nervous this made you. So I think your story is probably a little more obvious, just because you have the name Davis, of how you came to St. Luke's, but tell us anyway how you came to be here and how long you've been in your current position and all that sort of stuff.
Yeah, so we came in 96. We were at Chapelwood for 10 years before that, and Dad said, we're moving, and I was insanely angry. I was so upset because it was the summer before I was going to get to be part of the youth choir at Chapelwood, and I had been watching them since I was 4 years old and was so excited to join, and so I was pretty upset.
He's just the worst, isn't he?
He was pushing it that year, and so we moved and came to St. Luke's, and it was the best thing. So it all ended up working out great.
So when did you start working in any capacity at St. Luke's?
So I was an elementary school teacher for 8.5 years, and just decided I needed to know that I was capable of doing anything else. I never anticipated leaving education. That was never in my plans, but I sort of got this itch to see what else was out there and if I could actually do it. I had an education degree and really didn't know what else I could do. What else was I good at? So I had about 15 months in there where I was a kind of a personal assistant for a businesswoman, and then this job opened up. Sid actually told me, you should talk to Alice King about what you want to do. She's just a great sounding board, and turns out she had a position that opened up, and I took it.
Is that the position you were at when I got to St. Luke's before you were director?
Yes. Yeah. So I was the outreach coordinator, and then Alice dropped a bombshell and said she was leaving, and I didn't actually think I could do the coordinator job, and then I wasn't really sure I could do this job, and here I am, and it's been almost 2 years now, which is crazy.
Wow, that is crazy. Okay, you said you were a school teacher before this. I was going to ask about that. You've been working on a sizable project lately that has finally sort of come to fruition, even though not in maybe the way you envisioned initially. Do you want to tell people about that?
Yeah, so Dr. Pace mentioned considering a capital campaign within the next year and a half, and that he wanted it to be outward focused. And so there was a team of people that kind of put together all the things that we thought we could do, sort of a dreaming of what could be possible, and this is what came out of it. Although the capital campaign didn't launch this fall like we anticipated, we decided to try to launch the 501c3 anyway, which that was crazy. Who does that in a pandemic? I'm not sure, but apparently we do. And so that's where PX Project came from. And it was a model that we'd seen through our research all over the country, but there isn't one yet in Houston. So we thought we'd give it a shot, and that's where we are. We're in week 5 right now with our first 3 pilot students. And it's actually, considering what 2020 has handed us, it's actually going really well. So
Yeah.
knock on wood that it stays that way.
And I'm sure I'm sure you've given this whole speech 20 million times already, so bear with us. For anybody who doesn't know, can you tell us what the PX project, the name, what that means, and then kind of what your initial what was supposed to happen this year versus what has happened and how you've adapted to that?
Sure. So PX means it's a term used in the restaurant industry. They used to use the term VIP when a special person would come in, and if other patrons heard that, they wanted to know why they weren't VIP. So they changed to the term PX, which means persons extraordinaire in French, extraordinary people. And we felt like that was kind of the perfect name for the students that are right now currently coming out of Golden Sharpstown. We think they're already extraordinary and have incredible stories. And we're just looking to help open some doors for them and hopefully hone their talents, find their talents, figure out what they're interested in, and then help them get on a career path that will hopefully help lift them and their families to a new level, out of poverty and to a place where they have some more sustainable funds and living situation. So our initial plan, was we were going to build a new building at Gethsemane that was going to have this incredible training kitchen in it, where we would train students and not only be able to have the training kitchen there, but have full holistic services. There's a legacy clinic that'll be there for mental health, and we would be able to serve the neighborhood food and bring in produce at cost so that they could have access to fresh food, as well as have a place where we could potentially sell jarred goods from all over the world that folks in the neighborhood know how to cook and have brought along with them. And it would be a place for young people, youth and young adults, to just a safe third space, a place you can go between school and home that isn't the street or a neighborhood apartment complex where things tend to, kids tend to get caught up in other options. So providing that safe third space. Then the rest of our pipeline was to build a cafe/restaurant on some of our Westheimer property for the students to run once they graduate out of the training program. And then once they have spent their time running the kitchen cafe or the restaurant cafe, then hopefully partner them with potentially someone in the St. Luke's congregation that could hire them full-time in a career of their choice. Not necessarily culinary, but maybe, and just kind of help get them on their way and meet people that maybe they wouldn't normally come in contact with. So all of that is still in the plan. We're going to make it happen. We're just not sure when yet.
Yeah.
So.
Well, it's a super, super cool project. We've all been very proud of all you guys, and it's been fun to watch. So this is, of course, a music and fine arts production, though.
Right.
So what has your involvement in music and fine arts been over the years, whether it's been voluntary or voluntold?
Who's gonna love this? So I was one of the first members of Pure Sound when we started it in '96, and some of those people are still my closest friends. Did
that make up, getting to start a new youth choir, make up for not getting to join the one you had your eye on? Or?
At first, no, I was not sold initially. Shocking to so many, I'm sure. But as we got into it, it was just, we had the best time, and I had the greatest friends, and that was my crew. So it ended up all working out as it should. So did that through high school, and then went off to college, and then came back, started teaching, and I was not interested in spending Wednesday nights in choir.
What?
I know. I had been in choir since kindergarten, and teaching was really intense, as anyone who's been in education knows. So it took me a while to come around to it, and I thought Sid Davis might have a stroke when I finally joined chancel. I'm not sure he believed it would ever happen. So I finally managed to get in there on Wednesdays, and have always been supportive, but not always with my presence. So this was new and exciting.
What was it like growing up as a daughter of a music director, where, you know, holidays like Christmas and Easter are a little more unusual than a typical family?
Those aren't really holidays for us in the same sense. They're wonderful and exciting in their own right, but it was never a time where we could really gather for several days with the whole family, certainly because my older brother Taylor has the same job in a different city, and so there was getting together on Easter or Christmas was always very difficult. So it has now turned into the tradition on Christmas for us is generally to stay up on Christmas Eve, because by the time we get home, it's about 1 a.m. anyway. And Sid is wired. He is up. He's exhausted, but he's awake because of all that he's done. So we usually pour a glass of some cocktail or wine and do Christmas that night, so that everybody can sleep in a little bit more Christmas Day, and then we get to hang out on Christmas Day, which is great. Right now, it's just me and my parents with my siblings and families being away, but we'll get back together hopefully soon.
Yeah, I know. After like even last year, I guess, God, have I been at 2 Christmases now at St. Luke's already? I don't even know. Yeah, when he told me that, I was like, you're gonna stay up all night now after all this? Just that, you know, I just know, like, my old choir director, I mean, he would go home and he would go straight to bed, and then like that was it. So the thought of staying up all night is,
yeah, he gets very it wires him up. And I remember the first time he decided we were coming home from St. Luke's, I don't even remember how many years ago this was now, but we're coming home from Christmas Eve. It was maybe almost 1 o'clock in the morning, and he said, we're not going to bed. And we're like, excuse me? Yes, I can
hear your reaction in my head.
I didn't understand what was happening. And he said, I want to stop for a beer. And I was like, Dad, it's 1 o'clock in the morning on Christmas Day. No one is serving you a beer right now. And we managed to find a gas station, and I went in and bought him the biggest Heineken, like, barrel-sized beer I could find. And we went home, and he enjoyed a beer, and we opened gifts right then. We probably stayed up till 3:30, and then went to bed.
Huh. I've never heard that story. I've never asked how it all, like, first started.
Yeah, and it's been that way ever since. So.
Wow. Well, apart from choir, I mean, I know you've done other stuff in, you know, tapestry and whatnot. Anything there you want to share?
I did the first tapestry show, You Can't Take It With You, and we really didn't know.
Were you in it, or did you help?
I was in it. David Gow and I were the two. We were sort of leads, although the other characters were much funnier and had a lot more lines than we did. So
that just has trouble written all over it, though.
That's really where it started, and it's been downhill ever since for us. That was probably, we were on our best behavior at that point, and the rest is history. And then I was in several others as we went along, and then as David started directing, I sort of went on the administrative logistical side, because David seemed to have some gaps in what he was able to do on his own, like costume shopping was a real challenge.
It's okay. I mean, you're safe. His interview is done. You can say whatever now. There's no retaliation that can happen. So
David will always find a way to retaliate. So, but I'm prepared for it now. We went into, he needed to go costume shopping one time and asked me to go with him. And we went in and I knew we needed petticoats. And so I told him, I was like, go find the petticoats. And he came back with a Civil War outfit. And he was like, is this a petticoat? I'm sorry, what? No. Who told you that? How have you gotten through anything at this point? Like, what else do you not know? So really ever since then, I've just sort of been there to help
Sure.
in whatever capacity I can. So
Sure. I know I always get a little nervous when I see you guys sitting in that back row when the rehearsals are going on. And you also help out with like the choir tours, right? And you've had some interesting experiences and things that have happened, right? Are there any that come immediately to mind?
How funny that you should ask that. I did. So several tours in, after I graduated from college, I kind of went along to help Sid as his mobility was changing. And it was always helpful to have somebody nearby that kind of knew the ins and outs of what that looked like. And Linda Oppenheim was running the tours at that point, and she was such a dear friend and always fun to be with and travel with. So I kind of helped her come up with plans and what we should do and what would be fun for the kids. And then when she passed away, we're stunned. Sometimes it still doesn't feel real, but Sid said, we have a tour this year and I don't know what to do. Can you help? And so of course, I hopped into that role as best I could, and that's where it started. And I took it on until just this past year when I just couldn't balance both PX Project and outreach and the tours. But we've had some
hand it off to Grace. Yeah.
That's right. Grace is better at it anyway.
Well, you almost became Canadian, right?
I did. We went to Canada, 2017. Wow. And we were leaving, and it was that day. We got into the airport, unloaded 2 buses, and 65 people, I guess, something like that. And in the airport, and we had 2 separate flights coming back, and one was flying through New York and one was flying through Montreal because we couldn't get everybody on one flight. And so Sid and one crew went one way. I think he had 19 with him, and I took the other 39 with me through Montreal. And as they're loading their flight, I think I got a notification that ours was canceled. And we're just sitting in the airport with 40 people and nowhere to go. And I asked them, I said,
40,
so are you
40
gonna...
kids, not just 40.
Yeah, I did have adults,
right.
but majority were students. And truly, the students were what kept me calm. They were the coolest of everybody. Some of the adults are sort of freaking out because they're like, I have meetings and things to do. And the kids are like, cool, no problem. And I went to the desk and said, so what flight are you going to put us on? And they were like, oh yeah, it'll be like 4 days. I'm sorry, what? We had no bus. We had no hotel. We had nowhere to eat. We really didn't have any more money. So it was a trick. And every day they tried to get a couple people on a plane every day. And so we weren't sure who would get on. So we had to take everybody to the airport, and sometimes they would give us a sheet that would say, oh, these 12 can go. But we would take those 12 and only 6 would get on. Mm-hmm. And finally, 4 days later, we were down to the last 9. And we got to the airport, and the woman said, 7 of you can get on. But you, meaning me, and Farron, who was in 6th or 7th grade at the time, y'all can't. And that's when I just started crying. I was like, I don't know what to do anymore. And I think maybe I should have cried sooner, because she got us right on that plane. And she gave us a standby ticket and said, you know, I don't know what will happen, but good luck. And we managed to get on and get home. And I thought, I could have cried 4 days ago. What was I thinking? I was trying to be all strong and like, we can do this. And I just should have shed a tear, apparently. Yeah. So it was, the kids were awesome about it. And it did give us a little bit of an adventure, which in hindsight was fun, but oof, I wouldn't mind not doing that again. Although now I wouldn't mind staying in Canada. We might be okay.
I know, yeah, really. That's a topic for a whole separate interview.
That's right.
Well, I know you love to travel, so I'm maybe not so much that time, but I know that's one of your favorite things, I think. So let's do 5 favorite things. I know you're preparing for that, so.
I am.
What are your 5 favorite things these days?
So my newest favorite thing is drive-through voting. I don't know if anybody got to do that.
We did a couple days ago.
It was amazing. Mm-hmm. And, you know, 2020 hasn't given us a whole lot to celebrate, but if this is something we can hang on to, I feel good about that.
Yeah.
So I thought that was super easy and really well done. And I'm proud of Harris County for pulling it off. My Amazon deliveries these days get me more excited than they should. Oftentimes it's really just things for my dog. So I really have less of a reason to be excited. See, I bet Penny gets excited about her Amazon deliveries too. But Leo gets really excited anytime something comes in the mail. Generally it's for him, so it's fair. But those things, it's just like Christmas, and it's just nice.
I know.
To receive a little bit of mail, even if it is a dog treat, you know?
Yeah. Grace needs to put up now photos of Penny and Leo because they could practically be siblings. So.
They could be siblings. We're going to get them together before the end of this. I am so excited about fall weather. I know fall is really a loose term around here, but every once in a while we have one of those days. We had one last week and it was just so nice. So I'm all about it.
I think next week we're supposed to have another cool front. And it may look like it's kind of breezy here. I see the palm breezing. That's just, there's a fan over here. It's all for effect. Don't get excited. It's, you know, no fall breeze.
I walked out this morning. There's no fall just yet, but I feel like it's in the air. It could be coming, and that makes me happy. I don't know who's read this, but Untamed by Glennon Doyle. I have read it. I'm rereading it because I loved it so much. It's a little irreverent for anyone who isn't into that kind of thing, but I thought it was excellent. And
what kind of book is it?
I don't know. I mean, it's a.
Well, is it like a biography? Is it fiction? Is it like?
Yeah, no, it's nonfiction. I mean, it's her telling stories about her life and why you should.
Okay.
I can't say any of the things that she says that really resonate with me because those would be bleeped, but it's an excellent book. It's empowering to people, and I think it was empowering to me. And I think in a time of 2020, when you're really looking for something to kind of lift you up, it's one of those books. So,
sure.
Highly recommend. And that's 4. And then the last thing, I love getting videos from my sister and the twins. Audio read. They're rarely clothed. They're often saying things that don't make any sense to anyone. And sometimes she'll hand them the phone they'll hold me, you know, in their hands and run around, and it's just it makes me laugh, and it's sad to miss so much of this age with them because we can't be together, but those videos make it a little better. So
have there been any more like freezer bath incidents or
gosh, none that were that good.
Which you probably should tell that story now in case anybody hasn't heard it yet.
I will gladly tell the story. So the twins got to an age where they could get out of their room at night and on their own. And Peyton, my sister, walked into the kitchen at wee hours of the morning to discover that they had gotten out of their room. They had opened the freezer, which was a drawer on the bottom of the refrigerator, and had had pushed the water dispenser button, that you fill your cup up with, on the outside, and had filled the freezer with water so that it was more like a pool.
And that takes some patience to like hold that down long enough to.
It really does. And they had filled it enough that everything in the freezer had frozen to the bottom of the drawer. And not only was the food in there, but there were other just random items that they had used in their pool play, goldfish and toys that had also frozen to the drawer, because they had really used it as their own sort of personal water table.
Sure.
And the thing that I'm sad that I missed, one, the discovery. I would have paid to watch Peyton's face in all of that, but also watching them figure out how to reach the water dispenser part, because that would have taken both of them.
Mm-hmm.
And I'm still not sure how they pulled it off. And it was brilliant and hilarious, mainly because I didn't have to clean it up.
Right.
And it's a story that I will absolutely tell everyone I know as often as I can, even when they're 30, because it's just really creative of them.
So you should have some understanding then when Sid tells stories of you.
I should, but he has like 5 of his favorites, and we just get them over and over, and it just doesn't make me look very good, because some of them happened not when I was 3, like the twins, but when I was 16, and it's not a good look for me.
Like the tire rotation thing.
I knew it was coming. And I feel like if people knew the whole story, someone would agree with me that maybe the term should be changed.
Well, this is your chance right now to, if you want, you can just let it go, and people can.
I thought, friends at home, this is so rude. That
I said there would be no surprises in this interview, and this should not have been a surprise. So
that is true. It was not a surprise. But I knew, even of all the stories that I can think of that could come up, I figured it would be the tire rotation story. I don't even remember how this conversation started. I was too old to say these things, yet I was young enough that maybe someone should have told me before now that that's what that meant.
We'll blame that on bad parenting.
I think that's fair.
Not from Cindy, but
obviously not. Definitely Sid's fault. So I was in high school, and I think Sid's going to come back and say it was last year, and that's just not true. People, don't listen to him. Someone asked me about getting my tires rotated, to which I replied, I don't understand why people get their tires rotated. They're rotating all the time. Which they are.
You have a point.
And I thought, do they wear differently? If I can't even explain my thoughts because it doesn't help. But I didn't understand why it was called tire rotating, because they rotate constantly. And I don't know, tire shifting.
Yeah, I think it's just
switching.
Yeah. There's really not a good way, I think. I'm sure someone will say in a comment somewhere.
I can't wait.
A better suggestion.
I can't wait. But yes, there are many of those stories that happened late enough in my years that it's embarrassing.
Yeah. Well, we all enjoy them, so.
So
but we'll leave it at that. I won't bring up any of the other 4 or 5 that come to mind that Sid loves to tell me about.
Great, I appreciate that.
But we will move on to the rapid fire round, which I'm sure you're very excited about.
Oh, I'm terrified, but yes, I'm ready.
It's okay. This is, everybody loses at this game, really. So.
Sure. Okay. I have a hard time with decision making, so making a decision in the moment is
Listen,
scary.
Preaching to the choir here. All right. Well, you have 1 minute to get 20 questions. And
Okay.
keep in mind that we have had 3 champions now. Oh, shoot. Who am I forgetting? David, Lisa. Oh, man. There's
Only 2 I knew of. Was there another
there's
one?
a third one, and they're going to get so angry at me that I've forgotten, so that Grace can just put a thing on screen about it. Anyway, got my questions
Okay.
here, and we are ready in 3, 2, 1. Wine or liquor?
Wine.
Appetizer, entree, or dessert?
Ooh, appetizer.
Driving or flying?
Driving?
Coke or Pepsi?
Coke. Pepsi's stupid.
Beach or mountains?
Mountains.
Flowers or chocolate?
Flowers.
What color is your toothbrush?
Blue.
Afternoon nap or coffee?
Afternoon nap.
Do you eat breakfast?
Sometimes.
Heels or flats?
Flat.
Anvil or Lalo?
Ooh, Lalo.
Roses or lilies?
Roses.
Rain or snow?
Snow.
Movies or TV shows?
Movies.
True crime or rom-coms?
Ooh, true crime.
Home cooking or takeout?
Takeout.
Thanksgiving or Christmas?
Christmas.
Massage or facial?
Massage.
Dogs or cats?
Dog.
Dark chocolate or milk chocolate?
Dark. Eat that, David Gal. I can't wait to call him.
It was all worth it now. This whole thing was worth it.
I'm not even sweating anymore. I'm just excited.
Oh, that's so fun. I can't believe that we've had all these winners all of a sudden. I think, David just opened the floodgates, and I was kind of hoping that one of you would be able to hang that over the other's head, though. So I'm curious now.
I figured it would be him to me, so I'm
Well,
really thrilled. I can't wait to call. It's exactly what I'm doing right after I get off.
We'll have to have a face-off between our champions to see who the real winner is. Well, thank you for indulging me on that. I'm so excited you won. And your prize, I wish I had a prize, but you get nothing. So.
Oh well,
Just,
I'll wait. You know where
too.
I live, and I expect something soon.
Well, we are at our last question. You're almost done with me. And our last question is always, what is one song or piece of music that you would want people to listen to after watching this interview?
Okay. I cheated, and I have 2 because
Unacceptable.
I don't care. Because I think it's based on your mood and your day, right?
Sure.
So if I've had a really long day and I need to sort of calmly take some peaceful time to myself, but still be boosted a little, Kacey Musgraves is a go-to for me. She has such a soothing voice, and the song Rainbow is uplifting but mellow, and I love that. If I'm ready to be hyped and I just had a good day, or I'm headed somewhere and need something fun and exciting, the song Upside by Judith is very fun. It's a good roll down the windows and kind of a Friday afternoon after work
Sure.
song. So hopefully both of those serve different purposes depending on your day.
I know you're so kind and thoughtful to give people options.
I just wanted to share the wealth,
Yeah. Well, thank you so much for talking with us today. I hope after you get off the phone that it's an upside kind of day.
It's going to be, yeah, for sure.
And yeah, congratulations again on your victory. And I look forward to hearing what David has to say about your.
I'll be sure to send you his words. I'm
Yes.
sure they won't be friendly. So
Please do. Well, Meredith, you take care. And I know we'll see you around at church sometime soon. So
sounds good.
have a good one.
Bye. You too.
Bye.
Bye.